to the track, the wall, makes the leap, and makes the catch! Amazing catch by Junior!
He got it! A perfect game! 13 strikeouts!
What a special moment for Barry Bonds.
Swinging a long drive, deep to right, going, goodbye! He has done it! He has changed the game of the night with one swing of his bat!
Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Champions Adjust. We took an unexpected break. We had a lot going on, some World Series stuff, some travel, some vacations. It's kind of hard to get 3 people in one room at the same time with a lot of busy schedules, a lot of lives. But as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're just listening via audio, we are without one of our co-hosts today. Coach Sander Bryan is out of town. I'm not sure if it's for work or vacation, but he is unavailable to do this episode. But we really wanted to get episode 8 in because episode 7 was posted probably a month ago.
Yep.
Today is July 3rd. This means if you're listening to this, the day it came out, it's July 8th. We're back on our regular schedule of every Thursday. We'll do this episode, which is basically Boz and I are going to talk about our World Series. That's going to be the meat of the episode. We'll have a little bit of outside baseball talk, but mostly we just want to give you guys the scoop on how our World Series went. If you saw on social media little snippets of it, it went fucking fantastic. Couldn't have asked for a better way to end the season. But we'll dive into that in a second. And then episode 9, we'll have Coach Sander Bryan back. He'll talk about his World Series, how his team did. We'll talk about, and then we'll do an episode 10. And in there, we'll bring back our Hall of Fame or Not segment. We'll talk about the sticky stuff situation, which is going to be a very interesting conversation topic. We'll talk dynamics of a bat flip, which we've been teasing basically the whole season of Champions Adjust. And again, if you have any questions for us to answer, send those in. Send them via video format on DM. Tweet us your questions. Text us your questions because you have a lot of our numbers because personal friends watch this, which we very much appreciate. Thank you so much. And so that's kind of the housekeeping stuff. Yeah. Also, as you can see, I got a sweet Champions Adjust hat. These aren't on sale yet. I'm just kind of sorting through some merch to see what we want to put on sale.
It's like a true trucker hat.
It's a real trucker hat. It's got the foam stuff. I don't know if we're going to sell these, but we're definitely going to sell, I think this for sure. This kind of trucker hat is what I want to sell.
I like that better than the foam one.
Yeah, I like it better too. I was just kind of playing around with it. And so those will be on sale soon. I'm also just having this weird, not weird, but kind of idea that I think Champions Adjust is going to be bigger than a podcast. I have a feeling,
hope so.
Especially with all the branding stuff that I do, with my other stuff, Champions Adjust seems just such a really cool fucking name for something. And I think it's going to be more than a podcast. I think it's going to be a brand. I think it's going to be a specific baseball brand, and we're going to do a lot more merchandising with that. So if you're interested in being one of the first people on that train, I am looking for a new logo. We have our podcast logo, which is sweet. You saw it on our t-shirt. But we need a tighter logo, like ESPN has their logo where all the letters are attached. We need the CA logo. So if anyone wants to make that, create that art, send that our way. But I'm working on that now.
Fantastic.
So that's kind of it for housekeeping.
I want to bring up something off the bat.
But Bod's got something off the bat.
I think it's obviously no Sander Bryan today, and Sander, I'm sure you're listening, and I miss you dearly. I find it very interesting that we're experiencing right now. Aaron, you and I have seen each other every day for the last 6 months, and I haven't seen you in about 10, 11 days.
Right.
And it goes with the grind. And anybody who's a parent, who's a player, who's a former player, former coach, current coach, can understand that you go from seeing the same kids every single day, the same coaches every single day, the same people every single day from January through June, and then the season ends. And then it's almost like there's no real farewell tour. It's just cut off. Okay, we don't see each other anymore.
Yeah.
And like Sander Bryant, I haven't seen him three or four since the last time we filmed. I haven't seen Sander, I don't believe. And
yeah, we just haven't had time to sit down and chat.
People get busy, especially during the World Series, and it just I find it I don't know, it makes me a little sad because you really get to know people like the kids that we coached. Some of them weren't able to be there, but we won. We'll get into it, but we won a lot of games and we finished on a really high note, and then we said goodbye. And then I haven't seen any of those kids since, and they haven't seen each other a whole lot. And it's just it speaks to camaraderie and family that baseball brings together. And I think any sports, people always bring up like, oh, what is the appeal of sports? I've heard that before, and it's community and family. Just like how early in the season, we pushed really hard to make our team a family. And family on three, 1, 2, 3, family, because we win as a family, we lose as a family, we succeed and struggle as a family. But what happens when the season ends? Mm-hmm. And then you just don't see your family anymore. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Obviously, Sander being one of the 3 brothers that run this podcast.
The founders and
the founding fathers, if you will.
Champs and Just for life.
And it's just, I find it very interesting that the dynamic of being family and being brothers, and being part of that family, and then just season's over. All right, see you later. See you in a few months, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
That is a very interesting point, like because we finished our last game super high note, and then you get your thank yous from the parents, which are so nice and appreciative. You get the buys from the boys, but they don't really understand the gravity of what's happening right there and there. And then that's it.
Yeah. And you go back to your life.
And then you don't see them anymore. And it's odd.
Which, we get so immersed into the season that the personal life, for better or for worse, gets kind of put on pause a lot. And shout out to my beautiful fiance, Lulu, who I'm getting married to in 44 days.
That was the first one, RSVP. Let's go.
First RSVP right here.
Let's go, baby.
She, as my fiance, soon-to-be wife, has to deal with putting my personal life, which she's a part of my personal life, on pause when I'm on the field, or even when I'm prepping for the games the night before, when we're sitting there watching TV and I'm sitting there making the lineup, and I'm trying to figure out stats and who's gotten the least at bats, so I can get them more at bats, so I can even it out a little bit on the Saturday games. And those are things that go into coaching. You have to be very, you don't have to be, but I choose to be very meticulous and very detail oriented to be organized. And it takes a lot of time and effort. And then the season ends, and then it's, I have a ton of free time now that I did not have. You don't realize how much of your life this takes up, but at the same time, you wouldn't have it any other way, because how much fun was this season?
Exactly.
It was just such a great ride with highs and lows and emotions and anger and happiness and sadness, and it was just a fun season to be a part of. And so Dallas Tigers, Bods and players, parents, coaches within the Dallas Tigers organization in general who are listening to this, shout out to the team, the kids on our team, for making it such a fun season.
Yep.
And I'm excited to discuss it a little bit.
That's another reason why sports are important, right? You just stated that you feel a full range of emotions playing sports.
Yes.
And that's an important thing to teach kids, especially young boys, that it is okay to experience a wide range of emotions: sadness, anger, despair, love, happiness, all in a span. It could be in a span of 2 hours.
Yes.
You can feel all of those things, right? And all of those things can mutually exist at the same time. And it's baseball, for one, teaches that a young boy specifically that we can feel a wide range of emotions. It is okay to express those, feel those, and have them be a part of our lives on and off the field.
But also maintain control over those emotions,
right.
which is something that as a 33-year-old man, I still struggle with.
Right. You have to work on.
Imagine a 13-year-old, how they feel right now.
You have to constantly work on trying to be able to manage and control your emotions in a healthy, positive way.
Yes.
But the first step to that is understanding that emotions are good. And then the second part to that is understanding that we are allowed to feel these kinds of things.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's why sports can be such a great tool for life. No
matter what level you're on, if
right.
it's rec league to select ball to D1, D2, D3 baseball to semi-pro to professional baseball or whatever level you're on, it's just it's great to teach kids, and that's where we have so much fun is experiencing those emotions with the kids and realizing that they're not just ball players, they're not just athletes, they are human beings with human emotion. And it was an incredible season of learning experiences for both of us.
Absolutely.
There were times where we sat down and said, hey, what the heck? Like, how do we figure this out? Like, I can't figure out the psyche of a 13-year-old. Lulu put it best to me at one point. She's like, hey, people have been trying to figure out the psychology behind a 13-year-old boy for 2,000 years. You're not going to figure it out in the season. But, like, what can we do to, at the very least, help them grow?
But there's little nuances that you notice about kids that allow you to reach them on a better level.
Yes.
Instead of just doing this one size cookie cutter, one size fits all approach. I'm going to coach like this for every single player, no matter what. It doesn't work. Right? You have to get to know people, but that takes time, right? That takes I feel like now at the tail end of the season, it's over. Now I know these kids better than obviously day one, and I could coach them way better now than I did. But that's the learning curve going into that. But if you're a coach out there, like if you're going to take the time to get to know your players, it pays off.
Yes.
Like if you're thinking that, how is this, what do I see the ROI on this? Like that's it. Like more family time, better communication, right? Equals better results on the ball field.
Absolutely. 100%.
But we can't go any further without our sponsor shout out.
Do you have one?
Oh, we got one. And this episode of Champions Just is sponsored by coffee.
Oh, yes, coffee. Thank you, coffee.
Coffee is life. Okay? If you can't drink a Bud Light, drink coffee. But if you can't have either of those, have a Bud Latte.
Okay.
A Bud Latte. Anyways, this episode of Champions Just is sponsored by coffee. Unofficially, officially, unofficially sponsored. Officially sponsored by coffee.
Einstein Brothers Bagels Bake It Up.
And also, I've got two drinks here, but because I'm kind of in the trenches right now. I had a long night in the trenches a little bit. But as they say, champions adjust. So I got a little bit of liquid IV in here. So if you need some hydration, that's where you got to go. Okay, so we got that. That's done. We're good. We're about 10 minutes in. Let's
get into the World Series. Yeah, let's do it.
Day one, World Series. We started on June 20th.
8 a.m. game. Arrival 7 a.m. as we get off and go into the World Series. Playing against a team that came in from Houston, who actually they ended up winning the rest of their pool play games after us. But we won game 1 11-0. We put a special shout out. I think he called us out for never mentioning his name.
Who?
The person who absolutely shoved. Should we just like troll him and bleep out his name?
Absolutely not.
JP Mummert, who
Big JP. Woo!
And unapologetically, we are going to talk a lot about our team during this episode. So if you get bored, just
click on.
Sorry, click on. Yes, but
JP also leave us a review that you love the episode.
I want to give a real quick shout out to Cameron Calhoun of all people. Who's just
we can do a whole episode.
Great, yeah, I love you, Cam, and if you're listening, I love you, dude, and you're awesome with the kids. I send a lot of my our players to Cameron Calhoun to work on hitting, to work on pitching, to work on the mental aspects. If you're listening and
if you want to work on your mental aspects,
and you also work with him on the confidence, absolutely.
Because Cam comes to me for that stuff.
But if you know anything about me during the season, I prefer not to give lessons to kids. Mine or otherwise, I want to give them to people who I first off trust, who can work with the kids, but two, like I like that free time I get. Like I don't want to go coach more when I need to spend time with my family,
with Lulu,
with my family being Lulu,
and Lola and Lucy,
So Cameron worked with JP Mummert a bit, and finally texted me about a month ago saying, "Hey, why is Mummert not pitching?" I said, "Well, gave him a shot earlier in the season. It didn't go well, and I just have other pitchers. But he's going to in the World Series." He said, "Give him a shot." So I did, and it was on a Saturday game where he threw like a one-hit shutout, striking out 2 and walking 1. And it's my pitching philosophy is 3 pitches or less. dive into that real quick. Basically, I don't like strikeouts. I mean, strikeouts are great, but it takes too long and it uses up too much of your arm. Get them out in 3 pitches or less. Trust your defense. Get further into the game. I would rather you give up 3 home runs than walk 3 guys. Simply put, don't give up free bases. If you're gonna leave it down the middle and they're gonna hit you hard, they're gonna hit you hard. If they're gonna beat us, they're gonna beat us, but don't beat ourselves. So I started Mummer game 1 of the World Series, who again absolutely shoved. So let me pull this up. His specific stats. Excuse me for a second. RSBA was the team that we had played, and my internet is not moving very quickly.
It's fine. We're here.
Mummer, 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, and 49 pitches across 4 innings.
Yeah.
That's about 4.2 pitches per inning. And 10.2 pitches per inning. And that was just incredibly impressive. Another shout out to Jason Madrano, one of our guest players.
Hit a tank!
Hit an absolute 350-foot tank to the other field.
Let's go!
To help expand our lead. And it was just a fun game to be a part of, right? Like, what a way to start off the World Series.
Yeah.
You know, we had won, I think, at that point, nine games all season. We were 9-20.
Yeah.
9-20, and we go into this World Series just absolutely. We win 11-0, and we run roll them in 4 innings. So that was a lot of fun to be at. So shout out JP Mummert and Jason Madrano, who
so nice.
Who
my mom just texted me.
Carried us.
Hi, Mom. I love you. You're the greatest.
Bits.
Quick shout out about this team though that we played.
Yes,
they had a collision, very, very intense.
Luke Robbins hit a tank into the gap, right center field.
Yeah, they had a very intense collision, like head on. There was some head into chest stuff. I'm not sure exactly where they bumped, but both kids had to be taken to the hospital to check for concussions.
One of them had a concussion.
One of them got a concussion. I think they lost both kids for the rest of the World Series.
No, they came back for that last day. So they lost them for 2 days.
Okay, so they're from Houston, right? They only had 11 to begin with. They lose 2 guys right away. They ended up just winning out the rest of the days and then making it to a super intense final game that we could have played them, but they lost. We won't get into that dynamic.
In the second extra inning.
But those kids came back, fought hard.
Yes.
You know, and
kids
that whole
awesome.
team with just 9 guys for 3 or 4 straight games just ended up just going balls to the wall and crushing it.
A lot of fun.
So it was a cool way to start for us, but even see them come back 4 days later was pretty magical experience as well.
Yes.
Cool. Second game on Sunday. 245, Diamond Prospects.
Played the Diamond Prospects, who we had actually beaten 23-1 earlier in the season. And in the World Series, we did the same thing. We had guest players. Our 3 guest players, we had 5 guest players at one point or another. Making sure, because of the heat, that we had extra arms and extra legs, because paramount is the health of the players above everything else. Then you want to develop them the best you can, and then if you win, you win, which obviously we want to win, but the most important thing is the health and safety of the kids. So we loaded up on some guest players, but so did the team that we played against next, and they were a lot better the second time we played them.
Yeah.
So we go up against Stuart Allday's team. Shout out Stuart Allday. I do believe you listen to this. I know you follow us, so appreciate you listening. And and it was a lot of fun watching you play and having seen you develop in the last year. But yeah, a very fun game. We we go down 4-0 in the second inning, and I kind of we had to take the kids hey, yes, we beat them big last time. Do you see the same kids though? Mm-hmm. Do you see new kids on the team? Yeah, they're a better team. We have to take it to them. We have to work hard. Don't care if we lose badly, as long as we're working hard, and we weren't in the first inning and a half.
Right.
There was the incident, where I had to pull kids off the field.
Was that game?
That was that game. Where we're losing 4-0, and then I have 3 players yelling at each other. So basically, in the middle of that second inning, where the wheels were about to fall off, I had to pull those 3 players off the field and replace them, basically to stop the bleeding, because 13-year-olds, when the pressure mounts and things start to fall apart, part of our job psychologically is to figure out how we can be a calming force. Mm-hmm. And so we stopped the bleeding. We ended up scoring 5 runs in the bottom half of that inning. So we're up 5-4. They come and they take the lead 6-4, and then we score 5 more runs in the bottom half of the third, and then we shut the door. Actually, that was a really cool event. A very special shout out to Cooper Sunt, who Big Coop came onto the mound with, I can't remember the exact, I believe it was bases loaded and 1 out, and we were up by 2 runs. And the wheels again were about to fall off, and Coop throws 4 pitches. He strikes a guy out in 3 pitches, and then the very next pitch is a line drive to Owen Quinlan, who makes a great it was Steven Madrano. Steven Madrano was our shortstop because Jaxon was at third. Steven Madrano makes a little leaping catch, turns around, throws a second, double play, end of game. So we end up winning that game 10-8, and that was just a lot of fun. Special shout outs also offensively. Luke Fegley had a triple, and Spencer Shedler had a triple. A lot of errors. I think we committed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 errors in that game. But we came back and we still got the win. Cooper Sunt with a 5-pitch, 4-strike thrown save to get actually all 3 outs because there were no outs. So he got 3 outs and 4 pitches with the bases loaded. So shout out to you, Cooper Sunt. Awesome job. Loved it. And now we go into...
so now we're 2-0 headed to Monday, June 21st.
Another 8 a.m. game against the Texas Rattlers.
That
was a game that we didn't struggle. We really... Owen Quinlan started on the mound with his little brother, Liam Quinlan, as our catcher, and they gave us 2 solid innings where we did what we needed to do. I think that we were down when they came off the mound. Then I put in Tyson Gibson, one of our guest players, to pitch a couple more, as well as, or was it? No, it was Steven Madrano again. Sorry, guys, it's been a week and a half, and a lot of the games kind of ran together, but it was still a lot of fun to be a part of. But Owen Quinlan starts us off on the mound, gives up, 3 runs in 2 innings. Kind of, did what he could and pitched and threw a lot of pitches. Then we threw Tyson Gibson in there for the last 3 innings, and Gibson struck out 5 across 3. Only 1 earned run on 40 pitches, so that was a lot of fun. And hitting wise, JP Mummert with runs. Swung it well, 14 runs. Ended up winning this game 14-7. JP Mummert with a double, Luke Robbins with a double, Tyson Gibson with a double, Fegley with another triple, and then Steven Madrano with a triple. Quinlan with 2 stolen bases. We committed 3 errors. But it was 4 errors, but it was a lot of fun to be a part of that game. We kind of rolled over on them, or they rolled over on us rather, and we beat them pretty well.
Boom. Second game
was Monday. Right afterwards against the USA Prime Lock. This is one of the most fun games we've ever been a part of.
Yeah, really cool game.
So we go out there, and it was just, we start Grayson Bowers on the mound. Shout out to Grayson. Big improvement on the season from you in terms of control and finding a second and third pitch. A lot of fun to watch you develop.
Drippy.
They score 4, 5, 6, 7 runs on us in the first 3 innings. So we go into the bottom half of the third down 7-2. And I got to tell you, as a coach of this team, seeing what we've done the first 3 games, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah.
We're averaging a lot of runs. Okay, we just got to score some runs. So we're down 7-2, and we score 4 runs in the bottom half of the third. We hold them to 1 in the fourth. Then we score 3 more runs in the bottom half of the fourth.
Yep.
5th inning comes around. We're up 9-8, and we bring in Easton Kovaleski. Steven Madrano, this is the game Steven Madrano pitched really well across 1.2 innings. One of the things, if you ever play for me or if you have played for me.
Is your leg okay?
Yeah, it's good. Why?
You're just beating it up.
Oh, sorry. If you ever play for us or have played for us, the idea is if you are a pitcher or if you're a catcher, put us in a position to win. Keep the ball in front of you, throw strikes. minimize walks, minimize the errors, just put us in a position to win and let your defense and offense do the rest, right?
Give your team a chance.
Give your team a chance. And
you don't have to throw no hitters, perfect games. You don't have to be the star. You just got to give us a chance.
And I want to give a special shout out again to Steven Medrano, who I had never seen pitch before, not even in bullpens. You know, I've seen him hit, and he can hit. I'd never seen him pitch, and I throw him in there to stop the bleeding, and he gave our team a chance. He threw 1.2 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run, walking 1 and striking out 2, throwing 36 pitches, 24 of them were strikes, was just phenomenal.
Both those Medrano boys are going to be some absolute
both Medrano boys,
players.
A lot of fun having y'all. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the end, but
keep working,
absolute blast to have y'all as a part of the team. And special shout out to Jennifer Medrano, the Medrano twins' mother, who
always got to shout out the mama.
Yeah, who was great at communicating with me throughout the tournament and before that, and it was a lot of fun having your boys out. Last inning, go to the top of the 5th inning. Again, just a lot of fun. We're up 9-8. We put in Easton Kovaleski, who does a phenomenal job. You know, 1 inning pitched, walked 2, struck out 2. He threw, it took him a bit to really get in his groove, which is, a very Easton thing to do. He gets in his head until he finally calms down and just goes. At one point, he had a comebacker to the mound that knocked him on his butt, and it hit him. And I started walking out to him because I wanted to walk out to him anyway to calm him down. And he looks at me and goes, "No, I'm fine. Go away. I'm fine." I'm like, "Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good, dude."
That's called grit.
It's called grit. Great job. Gives up 1 run. Blown save, Easton. A blown save. But bottom half of the inning, we got our top of the lineup. Basically, we're tied up, and in this point of the tournament, a tie's a tie. This is the last inning, no matter what. And we're either going to be 3-0-1, or we're going to be 4-0, depending on what happens here. And then we just base hit by Owen Quinlan. He steals second, and that was just a lot of fun. Still second, and then Luke Fegley comes up and hits an absolute missile that would have been a triple if he didn't hold up at second with a game-winning double to put us 4-0 in pool play to be the number 1 seed in the World Series, which was just could not be prouder. Shout out to Owen Quinlan, who started game 1, threw a lot of pitches. There were plays during that day where he was in center field and he would dive for the ball to make sure the ball was in front of him still, even if it was just a base hit but it was in the gap. He would slide to keep the ball in front of him to keep another run from scoring. A lot of grip from you, Owen. Was so much fun to watch. And then Luke Fegley, man.
Owen's the kind of player that you really want on your squad, right?
Owen is
literally
a great
loves
team player.
baseball. Loves it. Comes to the yard, ready to go.
Yes.
Me and him did some private stuff together. So now he's just
also a great teammate. He's the kind of kid who doesn't talk about it. I find out from other parents that Owen Quinlan is reaching out to kids saying, "Hey, about today, it's okay,
right?
And let's have an approach for tomorrow to get better." And he does that across the board. I've heard from several parents, not from the Quinlans specifically, or from Owen specifically, but from the parents of the kids that he reaches out to about how great of a teammate he is. And he's one of those teammates who you don't realize as a coach until it's after the season how important a kid like Owen Quinlan is to your team.
He's
a big piece of the glue to the team, absolutely.
And then Luke Fegley, he's got to be the most improved.
Oh, 100%. 100% the most improved player on the team. The beginning of the year
was the tail end of the season. He was one of the only guys that we knew we were locked and loaded at that spot every single game.
Yes, we had him 3-hole the last month of the season, and it was just no matter what, it's Owen Quinlan's hitting second, Luke Fegley's hitting third, and the rest of the lineup let's figure out. But those 2 guys, we know exactly where they're hitting, and they performed. We had our 2, 3, 4 hitters up, and Owen with the base hit, stolen base, and then Luke Fegley, the missile as a walk-off was just a lot of fun. Won the game ball. The prime coach actually brought the game-winning hit ball to me.
Yeah, thanks, Coach.
Thank you so much, Coach Locke, for doing that. And we went into bracket play as the 1 seed, 4-0.
Boom. So now we're on Tuesday, June 22nd, against the Next Level Bulls.
Yes.
Definitely our toughest game.
They realistically were a AAA team.
Of the tournament.
Right.
Was this game.
Yes.
Not a bad game overall.
It was a lot of fun.
One half inning that was.
I did say it's funny going into so if you followed our World Series, you know exactly what we're talking about already. We had one inning where the wheels finally fell off in the top of the fifth. Going into the top of the fifth, the head coach of the team, I think it was 2, 4, 6. It was 6-4. We were losing 6-4 going into the top of the fifth. We were the home team because we were the 1 seed. And the coach came up to me and said, "Hey man, no matter what happens, this has been a really fun game to be a part of." Agreed. No, this team was a really, really solid hitting team. Mm-hmm. I started Cooper's son on the mound, who threw a ton of pitches, but he threw really, really well and did everything he could. Gave us a chance, right? Everybody gave us a chance. Jaxon Radcliffe pitched that game. Easton Kovaleski pitched that game, and then Bauer Gale pitched that game. And at the end of the day, we played really well, and then we gave up 16 runs in the top of the fifth, man. It was a tough inning to be a part of.
They found a lot of barrel and a lot of holes. There was a combination of both.
And I had some people texting me after the game, like, "Hey, was it pitching or was it catching? What was the deal?" I said, "It was nothing. They just hit." I think we committed like 2 errors that entire 16-run inning.
Yeah.
They just hit the ball well. Yeah. I think there was a play where Grayson Bowers in center field was trying to cut a ball off and slipped in the outfield, which is liable to happen on these fields. It was a little slippery out there, and Owen Quinlan told me the same thing playing left field that game, that it's a little slippery in the outfield, and the ball was hitting the gap, and they tried to cut it off, and they fell, and those things happen. And I think, again, one of the philosophies that we coach by is errors don't matter as much as effort, right? And we were able to ring true on this game. We ended up losing the game 22-8, which let's go into that in a second.
Yeah, the ending was very close.
Ending was a lot of fun. We ended up giving 16 runs in the top of the fifth and bring them in and simply said,
we're down 22-4.
Yes,
right.
We're down 22-4
in a 13-year-old baseball game. We're down 22-4, and our kids just end up still scoring 4 runs.
We bring them in and we say, "Hey, that sucked," right? Everybody agree that sucked. Anybody who listens to this, who's been a part of the inning like that, and everybody has, it sucks to be a part of that inning. But it doesn't define you. And I know what we told them was, "Hey, we may not win this game, but we still got a game tomorrow.
We don't give up at-bats.
So let's have some good at-bats, and let's score some runs and go out on a high note. Like, we're probably not going to score 18 runs this inning. Probably not. But we can try. And let's score a couple runs and see what happens." We end up putting pressure on them and scoring 4 runs, and to a point where their coach was yelling at them. Like, they were up by a lot, and he was yelling at them because we were mounting a comeback.
He was making
down 18,
tense.
And we end up losing the game 22-8, which I couldn't be prouder. I've never been more proud about a 14-run defeat in my life because they never gave up. And after the game, that's what we talked about. Like, hey, we always talk about it. If we lose by 20 runs, as long as we give every ounce of our effort, we can't be upset about it. Errors will happen. Move on to the next one. This will happen or that will happen. Just, do your best. And asking 13-year-olds to score 4 runs down by 18 runs is a lot to ask, and they showed up with 4 runs that scored that. So that was impressive and a lot of fun and a great way to go into our second day of bracket play. So
I think what's important about what Boston said is building optimism on your team, right? So there's what optimism is, right, is being very realistic about your current situation, but then having a fundamental belief that things can still work out, right? It's not naive optimism. It's not just not doing anything productive to help your situation and then just like kind of being wishy-washy about it. But that's the approach you can have when things kind of hit the fan, right? You be very realistic about the situation at hand. Yes, we are down 22-4. Things are not good. That inning was bad, right? Saying those things is good, right? You have to be very honest and realistic about your situation, but then building a culture around your team that has a fundamental belief that we can still come back from this. We may not, but there's still something to build on that. So that's about building a culture of optimism. Not to say we did it perfectly, because we absolutely did not. But if that's the kind of language and verbiage you can use on your team to not roll over on any situation, right? To never give up ABs and things of that nature. That's building an optimistic mindset, and that's a key trait to help anyone in all of their life, right? Because we all get punched in the face with so much stuff in life. And then it's about being realistic about that situation and doing the work in the midst of that, but also having a fundamental belief that it can work out for the best.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to break that down quickly before we go into our.
Absolutely. I think that's in life in general, and I think that's something that we did pretty well. Is try to compare our season to life. Is things will not always go perfect.
No.
You will be hit down, and you will succeed, and we kind of judge ourselves as athletes on the field with 13-year-olds is how do we succeed and how do we fail. And if we succeed and look to get better on our successes, and we fail and realize that's part of life, and we can't let that define us, then I think that we're doing okay. Mm-hmm. And I think that game, I don't know. It sounds weird because I'm looking at the score 22-8. Man, it was not fun getting text messages after that game. People were like, "Hey, what the f?" Or, what's happening here? What happened there? I got some calls from parents who weren't there, but their kids were playing. Like, "Hey, just want to know what happened. We were 1 seed going into this, lost 22-8. I'm like, you know what? I'm proud of the boys because they hit the ball well, and we still came back and scored 4 runs. Right. So no qualms at all with how that game went.
And then the best thing about it was the next day, Wednesday, June 23rd, 9 a.m., we literally played the best game of the whole tournament.
So this...
If you watched this just as a baseball fan and you didn't even know that this was our team or 13-year-old kids and you just sat there and watched this hour, 45-minute game... you enjoy baseball, you'd be like, this is a really good game to watch. 6-2 ball game.
6-2 ball game. Earlier in the season, I think we talked about it in the podcast, we might not have, but at one point during the season, I'm a big effort guy. I don't, again, just said it, don't care as much about winning or losing or errors. I care a lot about effort. And we lost to the team we played next 9-8 in the quarterfinals of our third tournament of the season. And that was the day the kids realized that they cannot give lack of full effort.
Right.
Because we ran them for 30 minutes afterwards. And it wasn't because we lost, because we lost, whatever. We lost due to lack of effort. We had kids getting thrown out at first base from right field because they weren't hustling out of the box. We had a couple runs scored because the balls were overthrown out of pure laziness. It was just a game that we should not have lost, that we did because we were just lazy. And we were, exhausted. I think it was a long day for everybody, but... it was in my mind unacceptable, and it was a good building block day early in the season. So, what is sports if not a tale of redemption? Mm-hmm. We played the same team. This is a double elimination tournament. We've already lost once, so if we lose this game, we're out. And we just have a really solid game. We end up winning the game 6-2.
Best game.
JP Mummert again, starting on the mound, 4 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits, 1 earned run, walking 2 and striking out 1 on 65 pitches. That's called pitch efficiency. It wasn't 10.2 pitches, but it's closer to 15 to 16 pitches per inning there. Yeah. And that is still...
Granted, he threw Sunday, and it's Wednesday now. So.
Yeah, and at one point, he was telling kids that his arm was hurting him, so I asked him, and he said, no, it's good. And come to find out, it was hurting him. His shoulder was just worn out from the season, which I told him, hey, you don't have to throw another baseball the rest of the year. That's fine. Thank you for putting us in position. And then another really special shout out to Jaxon Radcliffe, who was part of that 16-run inning. He went in there and got hit really hard by that team the day before. So I asked him to go out there, and he throws 34 pitches across 2 innings, 21 strikes, give up 2 hits, walking 1, no strikeouts. Defense was just working. And we ended up winning that game 6-2. Was just a lot of fun to be a part of. Sheesh. Cool. So now we're in the, unfortunately, consolation winners bracket. There was the platinum bracket and the diamond bracket. Diamond bracket being the losers bracket, if you will. Platinum bracket being the winners bracket. And we were in the consolation championship game of the winners platinum bracket, which is still a great place to be. Going into our last game against a team that we'd seen play a couple times, but never played against them. And I would say this was the most fun game to be a part of the season. With the stakes as high as they were, we're playing for a championship to end the season. Guys, this is, we talked about it before the game. This is our last game of the year. No matter what happens here, we lose 20-0, we win 20-0.
That's it.
This is it. We're not playing another game after this. So every ounce of energy you have, and I know it's hot, I know the sun's out in the middle of the summer, give me everything you got. And sure enough, we did. And I'll let you, as I look this up, I'll let you talk a little bit about what you saw from it.
Oh, the game?
Yeah.
I mean, the game was great. Right? I mean, we've now played, this is our 7th game in 3 days, 4 days, 4 days.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a lot of arms left. Bodies are tired. Kids are tired. But they understood what was here, what we were playing for, and I think it was a really special moment.
It was,
yeah. You know, the game was a good game. Like, both those games on Wednesday were two of our best games we played all year.
And I do want to give a special shout out, if you're listening. If not, Lulu's nephew or little cousin came out and played for us.
Andy.
He's a catcher, Andy Cifuentes, who's a quiet dude, but he's a good ball player.
But he can fucking swing it, baby.
He can swing it, and we asked him to catch both games on Wednesday because everybody was exhausted. Everybody else had already caught quite a bit, and it's hot out there. And he caught both games and was an absolute brick wall because this field we were playing on had a 20-yard backstop. So basically, if there's a runner on first and there's a pass ball, that runner's on third.
Yeah.
So we asked Andy, hey, just be a brick wall. Don't let anything pass you. And Lord knows, I think he had one pass ball the entire one across.
Like 10 innings, maybe?
Yeah, 5, 4, like 9 innings. Yeah, 10 innings. You're right, 10 innings. So this game, we started Tyson Gibson on the mound, another great ball player. He's actually a nationally ranked wrestler, which I know is true to your heart.
Let's go.
No, but he's a nationally ranked wrestler. He's just a pure athlete. Moved from Oregon before the season. His dad had reached out to me, Rex Gibson. Shout out to you for doing your part and reaching out to me to ask if he can guest play for us. So he throws 2.2 innings, ends up giving him 7 hits, 5 earned runs, walking 2 and striking out 1. That was a game because we were up 5-1 going into the top of the third, and Tyson was getting tired. You know, he caught quite a bit for us. We were asking him to pitch, and he gave up 4. And so now we're tied. Special shout out to Cooper Sant, who had already thrown a ton, actually the day before. And I asked him, hey, championship game, hand to God, you cannot lie to me. Jesus is watching. How does your arm feel? And he said, it feels great, coach. And I asked him like 4 or 5 different times, hey, remember, Jesus is watching you. Mm-hmm. How does your arm feel?
Yeah.
It feels great, coach. So Sunty goes in there. There's 2 innings pitched, giving up 2 unearned runs, 2 hits. Doesn't strike out anybody, which I told him before he went out there, I don't want you striking guys out because I don't want you throwing a ton of pitches. So he ends up throwing 24 pitches. 22 of them were strikes. Which, you know, if you've been following us on Game Changer, this kid has a bunch of junk that he throws, but he barely misses spots a lot because he throws so much junk. I told him, hey, you don't have a lot of pitches. I'm going to let you throw like 30 pitches tops. I want you to get us to the finish line. Get us there. And so he did his best, and it was a really fun situation to be, and he balled out. Before I get to who my true hero was for this, which was a lot of fun to watch him grow, give a couple more shout outs. Steven Medrano, when it mattered most. Bottom of the third, he hit a double. Luke Fegley, Bauer Gale with a somersault. We had a play where Bauer Gale was on first base, and we steal him to second, and the ball is overthrown. So he comes to third, and the ball is overthrown again. So I sent him home, but the ball bounced off the brick right into the player's glove as Gale was going home. So he's dead to right, and there's like a somersault, weird slide.
And he ends up on his sliding on his back.
It slides on his back, and the throw home was high, so they couldn't get the tag down. And he was safe, and that was a lot. And I had actually pulled Gale out of the game for his wheels because I think it was Cooper's son who had an RBI single. Then I pulled Cooper to let Gale run for him, and that's how that happened. So that was
some Ricky Henderson type shit.
Yeah, that was a fun play to be a part of. But again, Steve Medrano, being the absolute clutch ball player that he is, hit a double. It was a lot of fun to see that kid smile the entire tournament. We got 2 outs now in the bottom half, the top half of the last inning. I know that we have a bottom half we need to. We're up by 3, and I have 2 outs, and I bring in Easton. Who's my closer, and he has been my closer all year. He's improved significantly. He's been a great ball player, and I put him in a very tough spot. And again, classic Easton Kovaleski. Walked 2 guys, gave up a hit, and now we have the. And I told you, Aaron, I was like, listen, I know that Cooper could have gotten the job done, but I wanted Easton to have the opportunity. Mm-hmm. And we were either gonna win or lose with Easton on the mound.
Yep.
And he was gonna pitch his way out of this. And 2 outs, tying run on third on a 2-2 pitch, and he got a swing and a miss to win the consolation bracket championship. And could not be prouder of that kid. Got 1 out threw 18 pitches to get the one out because he was, not getting a call here and not getting a call here. And finally he left one hanging and got a base hit up the middle, which is totally fine. But him getting that strikeout swinging, him and Cooper's son, I went and hugged both of them. I could not be prouder of them putting us in a position to win. Our offense was always going to do its job. Our pitching just needed to throw strikes. And Santi and Easton, it was so much fun working with y'all this season and watching y'all grow athletically, but also mentally and emotionally, being mentally strong enough to close out a game like that and win a championship. And we left on a high note. We again won 9 games all year. Oh, I still want that because I want to give out shouts to the people who hit like 600 on the tournament. No?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You keep talking, Coach Bodson.
And really proud of you guys for the success that you brought to the team and being mentally strong enough to do that. So congratulations on that. And I'm excited for you guys. But I do want to give some special shout outs before. I know we've done a ton of talking here. Like I said, if you don't want to hear about the World Series, go ahead and click on. But I'm going to finish off with some of the stats that we saw. First, hitting wise. Special shout out to Tyson Gibson, who was 7 for 10 across the whole World Series. JP Mummert was 8 for 13 on 16 plate appearances with 3 walks, 5 RBIs. JP Mummert hit 615. And actually, if we go back, JP Mummert could be our offensive MVP. If we go back to the beginning of the season, Mummert hit 418 on the season on 55 at-bats with 20 base hits on 23 hits, 3 doubles.
I mean, my guy Spencer Shedler, though.
Spencer Shedler hit 456 on the season in 57 at-bats, 26 hits, 15 singles, 4 doubles, 2 triples, and 5 home runs in the season. Mummer had 17 RBIs. Shedler had 28 RBIs. Both great ball players. Both are our offensive MVPs on the season. But again, we go to the World Series. Cooper Sons also hit 444 while he was pitching for us. Steven Medrano, I want to talk about this kid for a second because I believe he hit under 200 in 12U AAA this season. Had a very tough season in 12U AAA. He came and played for us and had 16 plate appearances, had 1 walk, 15 official at-bats, was 9 for 15 with a 600 batting average with 5 singles, 3 doubles, and a triple. 7 runs scored, 6 RBIs, struck out only twice, and it was like just seeing that kid, his confidence, just you could tell his confidence was growing with every single game and his athletic ability. And Steven, if you're listening, I hope that you take the confidence that you gained in this tournament and you grow with it because you're a very special ball player. You and your brother both are very special ball players, and you guys have a bright future ahead of you. Just keep it going. Luke Fegley during the World Series at 588. Andy Cifuentes 455, Cooper Sant 444, Spencer Shedler 417. Owen Quinlan hit 412 during the World Series across 17 at-bats, had 7 hits, all singles, which is, you know what, my 2-hole, 7 hits with 4 RBIs and 6 runs. Heck yeah, dude. Grayson Bowers hit 385. Jackson Radcliffe 364. Jackson Radcliffe, somebody who hit, I think, 137 on the entire season. Goes into the World Series, goes 4 for 11 with 4 base hits and barreled up really well too.
That's the Cameron Calhoun lessons, though.
Another guy who really turned around, Luke Robbins, turned it around completely, and then towards the last couple of weeks of the season, he hit 313 during the World Series. And then Ethan Kowaleski, who, I was consistently keeping out of the lineup on Sundays, and told him, he asked me, how can I get in the lineup on Sundays? Well, you got to hit, dude, and he did. He was 2 for 6 on 8 plate appearances with 2 walks and a strikeout, and that was, those offensive lines are really solid. So it was.
That's why we went 6-1.
That's why we went 6-1. So a lot of fun. And then go to our pitching real quick. Cooper Sant and JP Mummert are 2 MVPs. Mummert started 2 games, 7 strikeouts, walking 3, giving up just 1 earned run across 8 innings. Cooper Sant giving up 5 earned runs across 6.1 innings, but still doing his job. I think a lot of that was getting hit by that really solid hitting team. So those are our two pitching MVPs. Right there, but also special shout out to Jackson Radcliffe, who bounced back across the board, playing great defense. Offensively, was a piece for us and pitched really well down the stretch. So
yeah,
I'm running out of breath. I'm talking so much.
But overall, absolutely fantastic season.
Yeah,
great way to end it. Super proud of the boys. As my first season as a coach, makes me want to do it again and again and again, and more and more and more. And so my hat's off to y'all. Thanks for letting me be a part of it. Coach Bozen, thanks for asking me to be a part of it. It's a lot of stuff has come out of deciding to coach, right? Getting back into baseball, this podcast, which is going to turn into a baseball brand. It just goes to show you just never know where life is going to take you. And you just got to be open to the opportunity that something great can always happen.
Yes.
Like something great is always around the corner. And I think with what's going on with you in your personal life, that's something that you should take, right? Because something great is right around the corner, and it's going to be exactly what was meant for you in the perfect situation, heading into your wedding, heading into the big future of your life.
Yes.
And that's the same for anyone who might be in the trenches right now. Like something is coming your way. You're exactly where you need to be. Something is coming your way. Be open to receiving that, and then fucking let it fly, baby.
Yes.
Let it fly. And so that's what the season and basically the last 3 or 4 years of my life has taught me. And it just keeps showing up repeatedly in my life every day. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the season. I love this podcast. I've fallen in love with baseball again, which feels very...
it's a big deal.
Yeah, it just feels really magical.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want to say. I don't know if we were going to talk. Do we want to talk NCAA or we just want to shut it down?
Oh, shut it down.
I think this is a great episode
about our team.
Yeah.
And this was my first full season coaching, and I want to thank the parents specifically for your patience with me as I learn how to coach your kids. Obviously, nobody's perfect, and we talk to the kids, but nobody's perfect. But also, I'm not perfect, and I learned a lot about how to approach the game from a coaching standpoint, and I appreciate the parents and the kids being a part of kind of like my first season experiments of learning how to coach and getting better every day. What a special group of kids. The two that unfortunately could not be there with us. Special shout outs to Clay McElry and Tanner Krug, who were a great piece of our team, and were unfortunately unable to be at the tournament with us. But love you two as well. And it was just a fun season to learn a lot about how to coach and how to maintain ourselves, and ultimately end on a high note and win a championship, which going to that World Series was not the goal, right? Mm-hmm. But we ended up going 6-1 and winning a championship, and I could not be prouder of how the kids ended the season and the progress that we saw from every single player. Our team got better throughout the season.
Yeah.
And it was fun to watch and fun to be a part of. So thank you so much, Dallas Tigers organization, Tommy Hernandez, Paul Ahern, Clayton Nestor, and David Lovell. The last three, Ahern, Nestor, and Lovell, were my three coaching mentors, all three of which who were willing to pick up the phone anytime I wanted to run something by you guys, to talk a little bit about what I saw and how to handle this or how to handle that. Specifically, Clayton Nestor, who we would call each other after every single game, just to talk about what we saw and how we could have handled it a little bit better. And I'm very blessed to have a really strong network of coaches who have been doing this for combined, I think, probably 70 years across the three guys who are mentoring me. And so I appreciate it. Special shout out to you guys as well for doing that. And the biggest shout out that I want to give is to Lulu, my beautiful fiance, soon to be wife, whose patience is unparalleled as I spend Mondays and Tuesdays and Sundays and Saturdays talking about baseball, talking with the parents, trying to figure out how to best approach this, because it is a big piece of the growth experience, and a big thing that she helped me learn is how to set boundaries. And hey, don't pick up the phone after 7 p.m. You can't, you have to live your personal life as well. And that's something I learned as a coach too, is balancing the fact that, yes, I'm a baseball coach, but I'm also a fiance, and I'm also a son, and I'm also a brother, and I'm also an employee of a day job, and those are things that I have to balance out. And so, Lulu, I love you so much, and I can't thank you enough for your patience and your from the grace of God. The last thread of patience was the last day, and then finally I got home. She goes, "I'm so glad your season's over." I'm like, "I know you are. I get it, and I understand. And, I can't wait to marry you. It's been the rest of my life with you, and you get to deal with a better version of baseball David every year as I continue to improve."
Be on the lookout for the live Champions Adjust at the wedding.
Yes.
Just kidding. But that'll be sweet. Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for listening. Again, look out for our merchandise. We're dropping more soon. And circle back for episodes 9 and 10. That'll wrap up season 1, and then we'll come back with season 2 probably September, October area. I don't want to give it a definitive date because there's a lot of things in the air about doing a 3-person podcast, which Coach Tanner Bryan's not here. He'll be back for 9 and 10 to wrap up season 1. Thank you for listening. Thanks for being a part of the Champions Pod. And we'll see you guys next time.